He survived 6 arrests, a bomb in a tape recorder, and 36 years of trying to outlast the world. In the end, it took one night. Who was Ali Khamenei, and did the revolution die with him? The world woke up to the end of one of the most consequential chapters in modern history. For hours, the reports swirled. Israeli television's Channel 12, citing unnamed intelligence sources, reported growing indications that Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, supreme leader of Iran for 36 unbroken years, had been killed in a joint American and Israeli strike on Tehran. The compound where Khamenei lived and worked had been reduced to smoldering rubble. Satellite images obtained by the New York Times showed several destroyed buildings at his residence. Then came the confirmation nobody could ignore. Iranian state television's broadcaster broke into tears as he read the words.
Grand Ayatollah Khamenei, the supreme leader of the Islamic Revolution, was martyred in a joint attack by the criminal United States and the Zionist regime.
The government declared 40 days of mourning. Donald Trump posted,
Khamenei, one of the most evil people in history, is dead.
36 years, 80 million people, and it ended in rubble. This is his story. Ali Hosseini Khamenei was born on April 19, 1939, in the city of Mashhad, northeastern Iran, a city considered sacred in Shia Islam, home to the shrine of Imam Reza. He was the second of 8 children. His father was a respected cleric, but the family had very little. In his own words, he described his childhood with striking plainness.
My father, though a well-known religious figure, was a bit of an ascetic. We had a hard life. Sometimes for supper, we had nothing but bread with some raisins. Our house, some 65 square meters, consisted of a single room and a gloomy basement. When visitors came to see my father, the family had to move into the basement.
From that basement, he would one day command armies, control nuclear ambitions, and direct proxy forces across 7 countries. But the road there was long, and it was paved with prisons. At 13 years old, something lit a fire in him. A firebrand cleric named Nawab Safavi came to his school in Mashhad and delivered a furious speech against the Shah. Khamenei later described it as the moment his political life truly began. He would travel to Qom to study under Ayatollah Ruhollah Khomeini, the man who would one day hand him a revolution. By the 1960s, Khamenei was being arrested for his activism. One arrest, then another, then another. 6 times in total, the Shah's regime put him in chains. He spent time in solitary confinement. He was tortured. He was sent into exile, but he never stopped. In 1979, when Khomeini's Islamic Revolution swept the Shah from power, Khamenei was there not in the front row of history, but close enough to shape it. He served as a Friday prayer leader in Tehran, a member of the Revolutionary Council, and a wartime president during the brutal 8-year conflict with Iraq. In 1981, an assassination attempt nearly killed him. A bomb, hidden in a tape recorder at a political meeting, exploded beside him. He lost partial use of his right hand. He survived, and he kept going. When Ayatollah Khomeini died on June 3, 1989, Iran needed a new supreme leader. The constitution demanded a grand Ayatollah of the highest religious standing. Khamenei was not that. He was a mid-ranking cleric, a Hojjatul Islam, not yet an Ayatollah by the traditional clerical hierarchy. The Assembly of Experts, the body of senior clerics who held the power to choose, faced a crisis. They chose him anyway. Khomeini had, in the final days of his life, written a letter suggesting Khamenei had the qualities needed to lead. It was enough. On June 4, 1989, the day after Khomeini's death, Ali Khamenei became the supreme leader of the Islamic Republic of Iran. Almost overnight, his clerical rank was elevated. Critics called it a theological fabrication. Supporters called it divine will. For years, many inside Iran dismissed him as a political figurehead, capable but not towering, shrewd but not visionary in the way Khomeini was. They were wrong. Khamenei spent his first decade building power quietly, methodically. He cultivated the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps, the IRGC, turning it from a military force into an economic empire and an instrument of absolute control. He packed the judiciary, the Guardian Council, the broadcasting authority, every lever of institutional power with loyalists. By the time reformist President Mohammad Khatami tried to loosen his grip in the late 1990s, Khamenei's apparatus was too deeply entrenched to be moved.
When we speak about religious or Islamic democracy, some people think that such democracy is only manifested at ballot boxes and through elections. Democracy means a system which is based on religion and Islam.
Khamenei's tenure as supreme leader was punctuated by moments when Iranians rose up and were pushed back down. In 2009, millions took to the streets after a disputed presidential election. The Green Movement shook the regime. Khamenei called the protests illegitimate and authorized a crackdown. Dozens were killed, hundreds were tortured. The movement was crushed. In 2019, after fuel prices spiked overnight, protests erupted across the country. Khamenei ordered the internet shut down. According to Reuters, at least 1,500 people were killed in days, one of the bloodiest crackdowns in the Islamic Republic's history. In 2022, the death of 22-year-old Mahsa Amini in morality police custody ignited a movement that crossed every boundary the regime had drawn: gender, ethnicity, class. Young women burned their headscarves. The chant that filled Tehran's streets was direct: death to Khamenei. And as recently as 2025 and 2026, protesters once again burned pictures of him, and when confronted with the economic devastation ordinary Iranians were living through, runaway inflation, a collapsing rial, shuttered shops, Khamenei acknowledged their pain. But he drew a hard line.
Rioters must be put in their place.
No part of Khamenei's ideology burned hotter or lasted longer than his enmity toward Israel and the United States. For decades, his rhetoric was extreme, consistent, and deliberate.
It is the mission of the Islamic Republic of Iran to erase Israel from the map of the region.
He built what he called the Axis of Resistance, a network of armed groups stretching from Hezbollah in Lebanon to Hamas in Gaza, the Houthis in Yemen, and militia groups across Iraq and Syria. Iran, under Khamenei, spent billions funding, training, and arming these groups, using them as forward positions against Israel and American influence. In October 2023, when Hamas launched the October 7th attacks on Israel, killing 1,200 people and dragging 250 hostages into Gaza, Khamenei publicly praised the operation. Israel's subsequent assault on Gaza and the deaths of tens of thousands of Palestinian civilians he described as genocide. The war that followed would ultimately become his final act. On June 13, 2025, a date that will be studied in military history for decades, Israel launched a surprise campaign it called Operation Rising Lion. In a matter of hours, fighter jets struck nuclear facilities, air defense systems, and missile stockpiles across Iran. Senior IRGC commanders were killed, nuclear scientists were killed, Khamenei's closest circle was decimated. And where was Khamenei? He had already vanished. A Reuters report citing an Iranian official said he was whisked away to an underground bunker hours before the strikes began. Khamenei survived Operation Rising Lion. He reappeared via a recorded video clip on June 26, 2025, 3 weeks after going underground, warning the United States against future attacks. And then, in a speech that appeared to be his last public statement before the events of February 28, 2026, he returned to the defiance that had defined his entire life.
Today, our enemy, the one standing against us, the Zionist regime, is the most despised government in the world.
He added that enemies had underestimated Iran's resilience and wrongly believed strikes would separate the people from the state. Iran, he insisted, had won. The nuclear facilities were gone. Senior IRGC leaders were dead. The air defense network had been shredded. But he called it victory. Then a second wave of strikes hit Tehran. This time, according to Israeli public broadcaster Khan, there is no contact with Khamenei. His compound, the place he had lived and ruled from for decades, was gone. Khamenei is confirmed dead. Iran faces a question it has never had to answer since 1989. Who leads now? His enemies hunted him for years. On February 28, 2026, according to Israeli intelligence sources, it appears they finally did. Or at the very least, they destroyed the world he built. The compound is rubble. The generals are dead. The nuclear sites are dismantled. And the man who called himself a servant of the revolution, who built a 4-decade empire on that claim, is gone. What replaces him is, for now, an open question. And in the Middle East, open questions are never answered quietly.